This is the Recovery Protocol episode 10, and this is about rolling up your sleeves, right? Putting in some elbow grease, getting some good work in. I'm going to put a list in the notes that have the highest paying jobs without a college degree that you can get even as a felon. Some of these jobs you can get as a felon, okay? Whether or not you're a drug addict or you're in recovery, going to college is always a good option, especially for women. You can become a teacher, which is what I highly recommend. For many women and even men working out there, working the trades, working with their hands, being a truck driver, CDL trucking driver, driving a hazardous truck, hazardous material, driving oil trucks, right? And plumber, electrician, underwater welder, doing different things like building houses, working on planes, becoming an aviation mechanic, working on cars, becoming an auto mechanic. These are good jobs. Being a manager, doing all elevator technician pays $100,000 a year. Okay, being a bookkeeper or an accountant, dealing with finances, being a financial strategist, a financial advisor. Okay, you want these jobs. You want to live the American dream. This is what this is about: living the American dream and getting out there, putting your energy and time into a craft that you've mastered. Now you can support your family. Now you can be a protector. Now you could be a financial protector, a spiritual protector, emotional protector, and a physical protector, okay? You could become a psychological protector. Being a psychological protector for you and your family means that on social media, or if people are hitting you up, or people in your neighborhood, people knocking on your door, drug dealers, the cartel basically, selling you drugs, giving you drugs, getting you high, having you fund cartel operations and all this nonsense, then that's where you need to have that psychological discipline, right? If you learn karate, you're learning karate, you're learning self-defense. I taught you self-defense tactics, okay? You also need to have that sensei-like mentality to where you're a soldier, right? You're a karate kid. You understand, the dark side of the world, the dark side of the cartel, the dark side of doing drugs, and you need to be in the light. You need to be a positive person. You need to be benevolent, a good person. You need to have a good heart, okay? Good mind, body, and spirit. And you need to be able to psychologically defend yourself against predators, against drug dealers, okay? When they hit you up, hey, I'm getting clean. Hey, I'm sorry, I don't have the money. Hey, I'm sorry, I can't do drugs. Hey, I'm sorry, I'm on probation. Hey, I'm sorry, I'm trying to work. I get drug tested, okay? I get drug tested at work. I can't pop dirty. I'm trying to support my children. Hey, I'm sorry, I got to pay for diapers. Hey, I'm sorry, I got to pay for baby formula. Just say this shit. Say all this shit. All these excuses, they could be true, they could be not true. Make them true. Have excuses. Have real excuses. Hey, I got to put food on the table. Hey, I got kids. I got to pay for diapers. I got to pay for rent. I got to pay the light bill. These things cost money. I can't be affording $50, $100 on my heroin addict anymore, or a meth addict, meth addiction, or this drug addiction. I can't spend money on alcohol. I got bills to pay. I got mouths to feed. I got things to accomplish. I have a mission to accomplish in life, which is to protect my family financially, especially spiritually, emotionally, psychologically, okay? And you want to be able to be a guardian angel on the street, a guardian angel. Just like for me, I'm a virtual guardian angel. I'm helping you the best I can. You need to be a real live, in-person guardian angel for yourself and your family. Look after them, be a protector, a guardian angel protector, and a survivor, right? You don't want to lose your life to drugs because then you can't protect them. You can't look after them. You can't provide for them. You're a protector and a provider. You're a guardian angel, right? You look after them. You make sure things get taken care of. Their hospital bills are paid. You get them to seek treatment, mental health, physical health. You get them their, vaccines if they need them, such as a flu shot or measles or things like that, to where, chicken pox, to where children usually get, and it helps and is beneficial. You don't have to get them COVID if you don't believe in that, but staying strong and fit, getting them vitamins, getting them a functional medicine doctor, getting yourself a nutritional therapist, getting yourself a wellness coach, a recovery coach, an intervention professional, an AI chatbot, doing the most affordable things you can, doing this getting virtual online training, taking online classes, going to college in person, getting a scholarship, getting Pell Grants, getting a 2-year degree, a workforce degree, or getting a 4-year degree. As I said, becoming a teacher is the best bet. My mother is a teacher, and she's a counselor, and she makes good money, and she taught kids at a school, and she helped children with their futures, okay? And you can help people with their futures also. You can become an accountant, a manager, a bookkeeper. This is what I do. And there's so many different jobs available. Construction manager, social media marketer, all these different things to help companies, help their business, receptionist, scheduler. When I go to the Veterans Affairs, there's always a scheduler that I have to call. They schedule appointments. That doesn't probably require the highest level of education. It's a basic job. It pays enough for them to pay the bills and take care of themselves and have a life. And they schedule appointments. They have to be smart, competent, capable. It might require some college. I'm not 100% sure, but there are jobs available out there for scheduling at a dentist office, a doctor's office, receptionist. You got to deal with Microsoft Word, Excel, spreadsheets with, schedules. You got to be organized. You got to make a lot of phone calls. You got to talk to people, schedule appointments, and then you have to connect people, right? That's kind of like a paralegal doing all the groundwork. A lawyer's higher level, right? But there's still a lot of jobs available out there, okay? For anyone to do. My neighbor was a woman, and she was a truck driver, and she had a nice house. Her house is nice. She had her own truck. She owned her own truck. She was able to afford to move into a new house. She moved later, and she was a truck driver, and she would drive around the nation, get paid very well. It's a hard job. You got to sleep in the back of the truck sometimes, but it pays well. What I'll also mention is if you need a big brother, if you need a big sister, or you want to be a mentor, if you want to become a big brother or big sister to an at-troubled youth, a youth that is in mental trouble or at risk of joining a gang or dropping out of high school, okay? Then you could join School of Swagger with Old Spice, School of Swagger with Old Spice, so like schoolofswagger.com, okay? And that's where you're a big brother, big mentor. I'll put a link to that in the notes, but that's where, you go talk about your experience, what you've been through, how you're successful, your journey, and how you can help them, how you can mentor them to become a better person. And if you're compassionate, okay? If you're compassionate, which if you have this human trait, if you have empathy and sympathy and you have this human connection, right? You have a human connection, you have love and compassion in your heart for others. You love your family, you love your friends, you have compassion for your family and friends, and you want to help others. This is one way to help others. You don't have to be a teacher. I don't know if it pays, but it's something you can do to help the community, right, where you're at. Help an at-risk youth and teach them once you've recovered, or get help if you need help, right? If you're a youth, look at schoolofswagger.com, I believe. School of Swagger is going to be a special website by Old Spice. I'll find the exact link, put it in the notes. And maybe one day you can become a mentor. As a drug addict, you could talk about your story, prevent others from joining a gang or, buying drugs or doing drugs or dropping out of school. You can motivate them and mentor them to excel in life. Hit the gym, learn boxing, learn karate, learn kung fu, learn jujitsu, learn Krav Maga, learn these skills. Have Zen, right? Be at one with your body, have that coordination, that discipline, that mindset, that spirituality, and have that transformation, that spiritual transformation, okay? You're going to want to be as disciplined as possible. Once you learn these, I've taught you self-defense tactics, right? We'll talk more about non-lethal self-defense later, but you know these things, right? You have to only use them and be 100% competent. You have to only use them for self-defense, defending your family, right? In legal self-defense, legal defense of others, to protect your friends and family, right? As a last resort. If you're cornered, if you have to, right? Protection of life and health, or distress, or duress, right? You're in fear for your life. You're in fear for your family's lives, okay? But you also need to have psychological awareness and psychological discipline. This is what karate can teach you. Once you're confident in your capabilities, then you're confident on the street, you're confident in your competence and your mindset, okay? Now you can defend yourself against drug dealers psychologically. Once they hit you up on social media, once they knock on your door, shit like that, you can be able to say, hey, I'm getting clean, man. I'm doing things. I got school. I got karate. I'm hitting the gym. I don't do drugs anymore. I'm getting clean. I'm moving forward with my life. I'm taking care of my children. I'm taking care of work. I'm making money, right? I'm living the American dream. I'm working towards it. If you're not living the American dream yet, like for me, I'm still working towards it. You tell, hey, I'm working towards living the American dream. This is what I'm doing. I'm getting a house. I'm going to get a car one day. I'm going to get this place to live. I'm going to pay my property taxes. I'm going to have a wife and children. I'm going to have a spouse and children, okay? And I'm going to have this white picket fence. I'm going to get a couple dogs. take them for walks, live the American dream, right? Maybe it's to work from home. Maybe it's to work for a company, a Fortune 500 company, right? Maybe it's to become a doctor, a dentist, a lawyer. Becoming a lawyer makes good money. And you got to go to college for that, law school. It's not easy, okay? None of this stuff is easy, but anyone, you can do it. Elderly people go to college all the time and they're successful. Starting a business, writing a book. Remember this, that the guy that sold a pet rock made millions of dollars. He made millions of dollars selling a pet rock. Look it up, Google it. I'm going to put a link to that. That should give you some motivation to understand if you could come up with something funny, if you could come up with something clever, something original, okay? You might make a lot of money. You might make hundreds of thousands of dollars, millions of dollars. A pet rock made millions of dollars, okay? Writing a book, writing your story, building something, inventing something, designing something, painting, selling paintings, art, poetry, making music, anything. You market it correctly, you get the right audience, you give people something that is genuine and authentic and real. People crave real stuff, okay? There's a lot of fake stuff, AI crap, all out there on social media, all over the internet. People crave something real, and people are disconnecting from social media. But this is just an example, something you can do to provide something, provide a service, do something. There's a lot of opportunities out there, right? To be successful, right? That's just an option. That's like something you should do on the side. Stick with this list. I'm going to put a list of jobs available, around 100 jobs that you could get without a college degree. Okay, that pay well, $50,000 or more a year for men or women. As I mentioned before, women becoming a teacher, a counselor, a principal, things like that, working for a school, a social worker, a licensed vocational nurse, a registered nurse, working your way up to becoming a doctor or a lawyer or a dentist. There's a lot of high-level jobs you could get if you're competent and successful, like a professor, okay? And for men, it's the trades, working with your hands, or maybe also becoming a lawyer, doctor, dentist, things like that, professor. But also, the trades, plumbers. I'm a certified plumber, okay? I don't want to get shocked. I didn't do electricianry. That's a little risky. You could work on power lines, become an electrician, do underwater welding. You do a lot of things. Driving a truck, like I said, CDL truck. My neighbor did that. She made a lot of money, 100 grand a year at least, probably. So there's a lot of opportunities available. You just have to knuckle down, get the education, do the hard work, study, become expert at your craft and discipline, okay? Learn self-defense, look at School of Swagger to become a big brother or big sister and become a mentor for the youth out there. And I'm also going to put a link to fidelity.com. Fidelity.com will let you invest in a 401k for your retirement plan, okay? A lot of jobs don't have pensions these days anymore, so look at fidelity.com. You can invest in U.S. Treasury bonds, CDs, IRAs, stocks, even crypto, I believe. You could do a lot of investing. I wouldn't invest in crypto. That's just my personal, belief that I'm not going to do that. It's volatile, it's risky. So I would stick with U.S. Treasury bonds, 401k, college funds, things like that, maybe stocks. But, for the most part, invest in what you believe is best for your situation for when you retire. When you retire, you want to have a nest egg, okay? You want to have that, pay enough into it to where you can retire comfortably. A lot of people, I have family using fidelity.com. I use it myself. It's very reputable and trustworthy, okay? In that space, in the financial space for retirement. So these are the links I'm going to provide. This is a mindset I want to offer to where you're guardian angel, okay? Your guardian angel. I'm a virtual guardian angel. I'm doing my best to protect you. You're a guardian angel in your family. You need to protect yourself so that you can protect your family and your loved ones, okay? You look after them. You're a survivor and you're a provider and you're a protector, okay? You want to be able to protect and provide for them, okay? Emotionally, spiritually, physically, and financially. And psychologically, right? From the psychological warfare on the street, from the drug cartel, all this crap on social media, all this crap on the internet, okay? People hitting you up, DMing you, people texting you on your phone, asking you if you want to do drugs, selling you drugs and all that, connecting with you through digital communication, telecommunication through your phone, internet, computer. And you want to be able to protect yourself psychologically from that. You want to be able to protect your family from that. You want to be able to protect your children, your loved ones, people you love and care for, your friends. Reach out to them. Pull them up with you, right? Don't look down on them. Pull them up with you. Help them. get them helps, get them treatment. And you have to be strong and fit. If you're going to be a protector, you have to be able to protect someone by speaking up and speaking out, speaking your voice. Say, hey, we're not going to do this. Intervene. Step in. Say, if you're a father, watching this, or if you're a family member, or if you're the addict, hey, we're not going to do this anymore. We're straightening up. We're not doing drugs in this family, okay? We're not doing drugs in this household. I don't accept drugs. There's a zero tolerance for drugs in my life, or alcohol, or drugs, cigarettes, none of that nonsense, none of that bullshit. It doesn't lead, you spiral down, okay? You're going to lose your life, end up in a grave or casket, okay? You want to be successful. You want to be healthy. You want your mind back, and your family wants the old you back. They want the real you back. You're not yourself when you're on drugs, okay? You're not a protector. You're not the real you. You're not kind. You're not compassionate. When you're on drugs, you're messed up. You're a whole different person. And your family loves you, and you should want to be that protector. You should want to get better for your family, okay? And you have to understand that the cartel doesn't let people go that easily. Sometimes it's difficult. Sometimes it's difficult to detach yourself and isolate yourself and remove yourself from that hold, okay? You're in the grips of addiction. They have you in the grips of addiction by the throat. And, when they hit you up, you come running and you give them your money and you're doing those drugs. They got you by the throat in the grips of addiction. And eventually that shit kills you. I see texts, I see documentaries all the time. They say, you don't understand. It's not that they don't love their family. That they love their drugs more than they love their family. It's that they're under the grips of addiction. You don't understand. I understand. I've been through it. I've stolen from my family. I've asked to borrow money and I use the money for drugs and I don't pay my family back. I had to get clean and I had to earn my money to give it to my family to pay them back. When I was on drugs, it's about drugs. Grips of addiction. I could lose my life very easily. Grips of addiction. It's hard to get clean. Sometimes you're not going to want to get clean. That's the point of it. You have to get that help. You have to get clean even though you don't want to. Even though it doesn't feel good. Even though it sucks. Even though it hurts. It's going to be painful. Okay, you have to push through it because eventually it's easy. Eventually it gets easier. Once you got your health, once you got your mind back, you got your health back, and you got your confidence back, you can figure things out better. Okay, life's a puzzle. Life's a maze, right? Life's one of those things to where you got to figure it out, do things to where you're going to benefit yourself to the maximum potential that you have, right? You're going to reach the maximum limits. They say the sky's the limit. Sky's the limit, okay? And you can do anything in this world, okay? All these people who've been successful, Elon Musk, Mark Zuckerberg, right? Bill Gates, right? Apple, Steve Jobs, right? All these people that founded these companies, all these rags to riches stories, right? People coming up from nothing, starting companies, being hyper successful. Now, people have their own levels of success. Living the American dream for someone else might look different than what it looks like for you. Some people might be high class. Some people might be upper middle class or lower middle class, right? You want to be in that middle class range, right? So you want to be that protector. You need to be someone who could say no to the cartel, someone who could, disconnect social media channels, change your social media, lose contact with all of these drug dealers, don't communicate with them anymore so that you can protect and provide for your family, right? As I mentioned, you're that guardian angel. You're looking after them. You're going to become old one day. You're going to become wise. You're going to become a mentor. You're going to talk about your story, what you've been through, how much you've worked, your work ethic, how you've been able to provide for your family, and how you made it through, how you got clean, how it sucked, how it was hard, how it was difficult, how you were screaming, how you wanted to go back, how much you were tempted, but you made it through. You stayed clean. You held true to your word. You have to speak things into existence. When you speak something into existence, you're more likely to execute and follow through, okay? If I say, I'm gonna get clean for one day, then now I have to follow through. One day is hard. It's like not drinking coffee. It's like, not eating sugar, not eating junk food for one day. I've done it for one day. I got to try it for another day. Try one day at a time. Just one day at a time. That's every step. AA steps, NA steps. Stay clean one day at a time. Rebuild your life one day at a time, okay? Once you start doing that and you get clean, it's going to be a whole hell of a lot easier, okay? You're going to be on a much more strict diet, much more strict workout plan, much more strict work ethic, making good money, providing for your family, networking, meeting the right people, enjoying life, going on adventures, having fun, work ethic, living the American dream, getting your dogs, and having a good life, taking care of your children, right? Saving up for your future, okay? And once you do this, you can help others with School of Swagger, with Old Spice, be a big brother, big mentor. You'll be able to invest in fidelity.com, invest in your future, okay? Invest in your retirement. And you'll be able to help others, you'll be able to protect your family. As I said, as an intervention professional, I understand that if something happens, I need to step in. This is me stepping in, speaking my voice virtually. And I wish I could do this in person, but you're there. If you're watching this, you're the person that can help your family. You're the person that can look in the mirror, help yourself, okay? If you see a family member, step in, intervene as an intervention professional, interventionist, okay? You have to intervene. Say, hey, we're not going to do drugs. We're going to get clean. Hey, what are you doing, man? We need to eat healthy. This is bullshit. This is crap in your system. You don't need this. Messing up your brain, okay? You're going to lose your life. It's going to be laced with fentanyl. It's damaging your organs, okay? And it's expensive. You're wasting your money. We're hitting the gym right now. We're sweating this shit out. We're going to the sauna. You're not talking to these drug dealers anymore. We're leaving the city. Give me your phone. We're going to disconnect. Who are these contacts? Who's this person? Delete, 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 block, 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 block. Okay, call AT&T. We got T-Mobile. We got Verizon Wireless. Hey, man, we need to change our phone number. We need to change our phone number. We're being harassed. We need to change our phone number for free. Okay? Oh, okay, it costs $30. Okay, we'll pay $30. Just change the phone number today. Change it right now. Please. Thank you. And then so they change your phone number. Drug dealers can't hit you up. Okay, now deleting social media. Deleting it, if you want social media, make an alias. 16ZE12. Make some crazy fake alias that no one can memorize, okay? Just some crazy fake alias no one can memorize to where drug dealers can't find you. They don't know who you are. They don't know where you went. You disappeared. You ghosted them. If I was there and my family was doing drugs, this is what I would do. I would step in. Hey, I love you. I care about you. I don't want you to be like this. I don't want you to spend all your money on this. I don't want you to get high. This is a waste, man. We need to do something positive. We need to help others. We could save lives. We could plant a tree, give oxygen to the world. We could save someone's life from fentanyl overdose. We could join the Big Brother program, the Big Sister program. We could help the youth, right? We could have our own virtual recovery coaching channel. We could do things. We could write a book. We could talk to others. We could go to schools and speak about fentanyl overdose. We could prevent people from dying. This is the changes we can make. Okay, we're going to hit the gym. We're going to go to school. We're going to make money. We're going to live the American dream. This is what we're going to do, okay? And we're going to take care of our children, right? We're going to have barbecues, networks, get-togethers. We're going to go to a swimming pool. We're going to go to Disneyland, Six Flags. We're going to fly a plane, tour around the city. We're going to go to these theme parks, SeaWorld. We're going to go to NASCAR, football games, baseball games, hockey games. We're going to do these things because this is what it's like living the American dream, right? This is what it's like being healthy, competent, clean, sober. This is what it's like having energy. This is what it's like being healthy, okay? This is what it's like living the American dream, okay? You want to do these things. You want to schedule these things. Have fun. Take yourself nice places. Get yourself nice things. Make good money. Bring that value to the world. Bring your energy to the world, okay? Anyone watching this is a bright light, okay? You're a spotlight. You're a lighthouse, okay? Be that lighthouse. You're the captain of your ship. You want to be that guardian angel protector. You got to be a beacon of hope. The Statue of Liberty is supposed to be a beacon of hope. You have to be a beacon of hope for your family. Hey, I was addicted. I got clean. Now I'm a beacon of hope to others out there, my family. Hey, I got clean. If you're on drugs, you can get clean too. I can teach you how. This is what you got to do, okay? Disconnect from these drug dealers. Hit the gym. Get clean. Sweat it out of your body. Detox. Detox is only 30 days. When you go to rehab or detox, it might be 30 days, and it's extremely expensive, okay? After that, you're on your own. You need ongoing support. My Discord channel provides that. Ongoing support, live Q&A, Discord channel, okay? Live communication. I have recovery coaching on the highest tier, one-on-one coaching, an hour a month, giving you a solid, steady plan to get healthy, okay? And I plan on getting registered dietitians and registered professionals in the future, mental health professionals, to help alongside my channel and my program, to help any one of my members help improve their lives, you know, and propel them to the highest levels possible, okay? Now, this is what I expect. If I was a guardian angel, this is what I would do if I could go back in the past and save one of my family members from, the dark side of the drug addiction, the dark side of messing around with the wrong crowd, the dark side of messing around the cartel, people with guns, people doing drugs, because he lost his life to gun violence and, cartel members, drug use, drug overdose, just the wrong crowd, to where there's people out there who are messed up. They may or may not be affiliated. Groups of people out there who are basically degenerates, and they have no organization, no organized thoughts. They have no hope for their future. They sit at home, do drugs, they party all the time, they drink, and they're just about violence. They listen to rap music, they watch a bunch of gangster films and all that. They glamorize it. They think it's the best thing in the world, and they don't understand that living the American dream, taking care of your family, right, and being a positive person in the community, that's what it's about. Helping others, making an impact. Gangster violence and doing drugs is not where it's at. It's not what it's about. Life is not about. If you want to find the meaning and purpose of life, and you think deeply, is the meaning and purpose of life, is the most deep and meaning and purpose of life to do drugs and get high, and just watch TV, or just get messed up and maybe accidentally overdose, or abuse my children, or get in a car accident or kill a family, or overdose and die? Like, is that the purpose of life, to not even care if I live or die by doing all these drugs, harming my body? Like, the purpose of life, philosophers and people who've lived 100 years old, the purpose of life, you don't want to blink. Life goes by in the blink of an eye, okay? And so you want to live every day to your best, right? Every day to your maximum capabilities, right? Every day to your maximum potential, all right? Never waste a second. But at the same time, you want to live your life clean. You want to live your life, even if you drink wine or whatever, or smoke recreational pot. For me, I teach and preach staying clean 100% of the time, because I believe the purpose of life is to protect and provide for my family, okay? Protect and provide for my family, my friends, my loved ones. And if someone on the street, if there's a youth out there, School of Swagger with Old Spice, being a big brother, someone else could be a big sister if you're a woman, right? Helping others. You got to think. I just helped a guy with groceries today. I gave this family groceries because, I hired this guy to work on my yard. I saw that he's poor. He doesn't make good money. He had a messed up vehicle. I understand people are struggling. He's got 5 kids, 5 children. I gave him a bunch of extra groceries, to help him out, because I'm doing okay. It was groceries that could help him out, that I wasn't eating at the time, that I didn't want to go to waste. So I said, hey, take all this stuff. He was very appreciative. It's probably almost $100 worth of groceries. And so if I was messed up doing drugs, I wouldn't even be able to think about that. Hey, would this guy accept it? I had to, be kind and generous and let him know that I'm trying to help and communicate effectively for him to accept my offer. And I hope that, it helps him and his family and his friends. There was 3 workers, to where I believe they're a family unit, and they also have children, and they're also, lower class, to where they're just trying to do these side jobs and make money on the side, to support their children. So that's one way that I can help others. I gave a homeless guy a few dollars today. He was on the street, and I had a few dollars in my pocket. I gave it to him, and he said, God bless you, sir. So you can help anyone, whoever it is, people on the street. It could be someone who works near you, someone who's on the next door app, someone asking for food, right? And if you're useful, if you're helpful, and then you're valuable, okay? If you're doing drugs, you're not valuable. It's like, you can't help people, and if you're ever in a situation where you need help, who's going to want to help you? You're just, hopefully your family, but, it's difficult, because it's like you don't want help. If you're doing drugs, it's difficult. It's like a lot of drug addicts don't want the help, and so they don't get better, right? It's hard for them to get better. So you have to want to get help. You You have to want to get better. That's what they say. But at the same time, you kind of force yourself into it. I didn't want to get help. I didn't want to get better. I wanted to keep using drugs. I was not ready. I had to be forced into it, and I had to force myself into recovery. I had to break through it. It's like running through a bulletproof glass wall. You're running through a brick wall, a bulletproof glass wall. You have to run through. You have to break through it with everything you have. As hard as it is, as much as it's going to hurt, as painful as it's going to be, as many psychological scars as it's going to leave behind, you have to push through it, right? Break through it. Just smash yourself through it, right? It's going to hurt. You're going to be bleeding psychologically, mentally, metaphorically. Broken bones, messed up face, messed up, probably fractures, shit like that. Broken arm. This is just a metaphor. It's going to hurt. It's going to be painful. Psychological scars for the most part. Some trauma. Your body's going to be dependent. All these friends you're going to leave behind. That's hard to isolate yourself, to have a new life. You like being around your friends. You like partying. You like doing drugs all the time. That was your life. Now you have to force yourself into a new life. Force yourself to recover. Break through. Have that breakthrough. Have that mindset to where you're strong. You're fit. You have discipline. You know karate. You know how to defend yourself and protect your family. You know how to protect your children. When you go out to the mall, when you go out to the store and you see families and women and children, you're the protector. Okay? You provide for your family out there on the street. You're a self-acclaimed, voluntary cop. You're a voluntary street cop. You're a street cop. If something happens, you could do a Samaritan Act, the Good Samaritan Act. You can do a lawful arrest, a citizen's arrest, if that's still a thing, right? You could do a citizen's arrest. Something happens, you could intervene, right? If something happens on the street, you could step in. You could speak out. Hey, I don't understand. I don't think this is supposed to be happening. Hey, something's going on here. Hey, you're not selling this person drugs. As I said, step in with your family. Step in with your friends. Be that voice. Speak out. Say, hey, we're not going to do these drugs, okay? We're going to the gym right now. I did that to one of my friends. We're going to the gym. Let's play basketball. We're not doing drugs. That was good. That was a good day, right? Going to a comedy club, a basketball gym, playing basketball, playing chess, going to the chess club, doing archery, taking a flight lesson, going bowling, going to the movies, going to the mall. You could do all these things and you don't have to spend too much money. Theme parks, SeaWorld, Six Flags, Disneyland, all these things aren't too expensive. You can do a lot of things. Go to games, football games, baseball, hockey, all these things you can do sober. Take your family. This is what we're going to do. This is our session. This is a therapy session. We're going to a hockey game. We're going to see this shit. It's fun. And we're not going to do drugs. We don't need to do drugs to have fun. We could skip that shit. Spend our money on something better. Okay? And once you start being that positive role model and that leader, if you're going to be a leader in your family, then you have to set the example. And you have to take action. You have to take initiative. You have to step in. You have to intervene. Right? That's what, a long time ago, I should have been doing that myself. Okay? I had to learn through my experience, through my trials and tribulations. That's what I'm doing now. I'm a guardian angel virtually, okay? I'm a guardian angel for my family. I look after them. I send them money. I protect them. I provide for them. I do the best I can to shield them from, negative forces, negative outside forces, cartel, drug dealers, harm, threats, anything on social media. Hey, change it. Don't talk to them. Make an alias. Delete it. Get a mental health AI chatbot, talk to a therapist, see a doctor, get some rehab. All these things we've been through as a family together, I've been through. And so this is the main thing, right? As an interventionist, an intervention professional, this is one of the main things. If you're a father, a mother, and one of your child is having a drug addiction or alcohol addiction, then you need to intervene, step in. Be that intervention professional. If you can't afford those services, it could be $5,000 or $10,000 for an intervention professional. It could cost $20,000 or $30,000, up to $60,000 for some rehab centers for 30 days, just 30 days. Okay, per month, $30,000 a month on average. Okay, if you can't afford that, you need ongoing support. My Discord channel has ongoing support. My recovery coaching has ongoing support. You could get other services. WYSA, it's a mental health AI chatbot that offers recovery coaching every month, okay? So there's a lot of services out there. There's a lot of opportunities to get better and intervene and step in. Because if you take no action, then that drug addict is going to spiral down, right? If you're the drug addict, it's easy to spiral down. Okay, where are you going? I don't know. I'm getting high. I'm doing drugs. I'm having fun. I'm watching TV. I got my job. I'm not really ambitious enough to move up. But I'm driving high. I'm driving drunk. I'm doing fine. I'm a functional addict. This is what you're thinking, and this is not true. It's not accurate. You can do better. I see women working at a car bath. It's like a car cleaner, a machine that cleans your car, right? So, she's probably making $20 an hour, maybe $15 an hour. But if she was, if I could speak to her, just like I'm speaking to anyone here, if you apply to 1,000 jobs, 10 jobs a day for 100 days, and you apply to higher level jobs that don't require a college degree, it's likely that you'll get responses. It's likely that you'll get some offers and some interviews. And if you pass those interviews, it's likely that you can move up in the world, right? You don't want to be stuck. If you're doing drugs, you're stuck. Because what else are you doing? This whole episode is about being a protector, being a guardian angel, being a provider, okay? And applying to 1,000 jobs just to start off with. You might have to apply to 5,000 or 10,000 jobs or 20,000 jobs to get the job you really want. You're applying to 10 jobs a day. You might have to bump it up to 20, 25 jobs a day. Hey, auto apply, build a resume, get a professional resume, use AI to help you build a resume, and then start sending it out. Auto apply, send it out to 50 jobs a day. If you have the time, if you're not working, that will take a few hours probably. Look for jobs you want, get a recruiter, talk to recruiters, try to maybe network with some people that can help you. Go use LinkedIn, right? Apply to 1,000 jobs to start off with. You're going to move up in the world, okay? That's what you want to do. You want to live the American dream. You want to have the discipline, the spirituality, the transformation, the self-discipline, the honor, respect, and duty, and obligation and responsibility to yourself and your family to do right. Do right by yourself, do right by your family, do right by God, do right by society, okay? Do the right thing and get clean. Do right. Live the American dream. That's what society wants from you. That's what God wants from you. That's what your family wants. And that's the best thing. As I mentioned, if you look at the purpose and meaning of life, it's not to do drugs and get high and live at the bottom. It's to be ambitious, be motivated, be successful, have a family, take care of your family, right? Love them. Go on trips. Take your kids to the batting cages, take your kids to the hockey games, to baseball games, take them to these trampoline parks, take them to different places, take them to healthy restaurants, get them quality vitamins, and make sure they get proper medical care. Get them nice, maybe obviously like a PlayStation or Xbox, something to develop neurological functioning where they play 1 or 2 hours a day, and that's it, limited. And that develops coordination for, they got to memorize codes, they got to memorize buttons, directions, patterns, colors. This is neurological development. It's just a video game. Some people don't agree. I read it in a popular science magazine that it is, video games are beneficial 1 to 2 hours a day for neurological development. And those cost money, $400 or $500 for a PlayStation 5, So, and the Xbox One S, I believe, that's probably pretty expensive too. The video games, all right, are expensive. So, you don't want to get stuck in that. You don't want to get stuck in that all day. This is for your children. This is not for adults, right? You can play with your children, obviously, but these are things you want to be able to do with your children and afford for your children. Live that American dream. I'm 40 years old. I have an Xbox. I don't play it. I might give it away. It's for children, right? And it's for friends. If you got them out, if you're connected on a network and all that, 1 to 2 hours a day. That's it. Don't get stuck. Your whole focus should be your meaning and purpose. And sometimes I guess that's your children. Sometimes I guess that's work. Sometimes Xbox is an escape, and people escape reality. This is a sad story, but my cybersecurity mentor lost his wife. He lost his wife to cancer. And he said he buried himself in cybersecurity. He buried himself in books. All he did was work and read and study cybersecurity, Microsoft Azure, technology, programming, coding, because he lost his wife. He loved her so much. She died from cancer. And he was just so sad. He didn't want to, do anything stupid, that he had to work all the time. And so some people, that's what I've done too. I've become a workaholic to where I just want to help others. The biggest impact, my purpose and meaning in life is to prevent fentanyl overdoses, prevent people from overdosing on drugs. I've almost overdosed on drugs. I've had family that's almost overdosed on drugs. And it's extremely traumatizing. It's very dangerous. Okay, so the best I can do is make that impact in the world, leave my mark in the world, and help others, leave my education, put it out there online to where I'm doing my best to prevent overdoses by bringing awareness. Anything can be laced. A cigarette can be laced. If you get it from a friend and you don't get it yourself, you don't know if they laced it. You don't know how long have you known this person. A joint can be laced with fentanyl, right? Any pill is probably laced. 7 out of 10 pills are laced with fentanyl, right? You're doing drugs, you're drinking, that's not the purpose and meaning of life, okay? Work ethic, taking care of your family, helping others, right? That's what I believe, right? Making an impact. You don't have to be remembered in history. You don't have to, but if, they don't have to build a statue of you like Abraham Lincoln or Martin Luther King Jr. But if there's someone drowning out there, if there's a kid, if there's a teenager or a young adult drowning, metaphorically, right? But if they were literally drowning, then if no one was around to save them except for me, and all I had to do was throw a rope and pull them in, and it's that easy for me, then I would do that if I could, right? If I had the rope, which is knowledge, my program, my course, and I could pull them in, get them healthy, and they could follow me. They could follow right behind me, exactly what I'm doing. The diet that I'm on, vitamins that I'm on, the karate that I've learned, the discipline that I have, the mindset of a guardian angel and a protector that I have. And, that could potentially save their lives. They're drowning in drugs. They're dying. They're literally dying. They've overdosed. Drugs are illegal in the first place. Their body's trying to process it. Brain cells are dying. There's brain damage being done. And if they take another hit, cocaine's very addictive. You're doing cocaine and meth, you want to do more. Then you just want to do more. It's so addictive. Then you have so much in your system. By that time, in 1 or 2 hours, you've taken 5 or 10 hits maybe. And now you've overdosed and died from a heart attack, or maybe it was laced with fentanyl. You died, just from the first hit. So there's any drug addict, any alcoholic, it may not feel like you're drowning, but other people around you see it like that. It looks like you're drowning yourself in alcohol and drugs, and you're literally dying, right? You're losing your life, you're spiraling downwards. And the golden rope is my program, my course, my information, the protocol, the recovery protocol, that I'm doing my best to help others out there. Hey, who do you love? Who do you love in this world? Does anybody love you? If you don't love anybody, does your mother love you? Does your wife love you? Do your kids love you? Who do you have in this world? Do you have a friend? If you're an orphan, do you have like maybe a foster parent? Do you have like a teacher, someone like a friend or mentor that you look up to? Do they care for you? Somebody out there cares about you, okay? Somebody out there loves you. And if you love them, then you should want to get clean. If you love them, you should want to do the best you can in this world to make a positive impact and help others. Hey, if I throw you this rope and I save your life, you got to pay it forward. Pay it forward. Now you have to help someone else, right? That they're going to follow behind you, and you're going to keep them clean. You're going to teach them your program, and you're going to keep them on the path to success and sobriety. And you're going to be their AA sponsor and have accountability. You're going to play chess online. You're going to download audible.Com. You're going to listen to audiobooks. You're going to get educated. You're going to go to college together. You're going to learn things, and you're going to take care of each other. You're going to have a network of brotherhood and a sisterhood, okay? And if you can do that, then that can be your purpose and meaning in life, right? To not only protect your family psychologically, spiritually, emotionally, and financially, okay? And psychologically, not only are you going to protect them in all these realms, but now you're going to help others out there. You're going to throw them a golden rope. You're going to save them, pull them in with you, save them from danger, help them, educate them, teach them what you know, keep them away from the cartel, hold them accountable, have them communicate with you. What I'm doing with my students, I'm going to communicate with all of them on the Discord channel, recovery one-on-one coaching, and make sure that you're not communicating with these drug dealers, that you did everything possible. You change your name, you change your number, you moved the city, you moved to a new city, you moved to a new state. If you had to, you got help, you got a restraining order, you blocked them, you disappeared, got a restraining order, you called 988, you got a crisis intervention, you went to rehab, or you called the cops, you got the cops involved, or you did what you had to, you tased them, or maybe you shot a taser, maybe you hit them with some pepper balls, and you didn't. That's non-lethal self-defense. Non-lethal self-defense. Kids in my house, if I was protecting them and there was drug dealers around them, then I didn't want to kill anybody. I didn't want to go to court. I didn't want to go to prison. I had to burn a self-defense non-lethal weapon. And drug dealers, coming to my door, texting my kids, having them meet them out there. I'll meet them up, shoot them with that pepper ball. And if they kill me, so be it. If they're prepared to, right? So that's a high risk. I don't recommend that to anyone watching this channel. But for me, as a father, for me, as an uncle, for me, as a brother, for me, as a cousin and a friend, I'll risk my life to set an example and protect my family and my family, my children, my friends, okay? That's one thing. Now, it's different if you're hunting them down. You don't want to hunt these people down. If they're at your door, they're trying to break in, or they're selling your kid drugs, or they've already done it, your kid's already overdosed, and they keep coming back, and you're texting them, hey, stay away. Hey, I'm going to call the cops, and the cops aren't doing anything, and the lawyers aren't doing anything. The district attorney is not prosecuting. The judge isn't caring. The judge isn't signing any warrants. You have to do something as a man. For me as a Marine, I'm not afraid to go to prison. I'm not afraid to go to prison to protect my family, to defend my family, okay? I will go to prison. I don't care, for life, And a judge will understand that. Lawyers, probably not so much, but a good judge is going to understand if drug dealers are harassing my family, if there's been a fentanyl overdose or a near-death overdose, and there's all these police reports that I'm filing, there's all these records of police reports, no one's taking action. The drug dealer broke the restraining order, and I popped off I shot him with mace, I sprayed him with mace, or I shot him with a taser, or I shot him with some pepper balls. I didn't even kill him. I just scared him, and I messed him up a little bit. He's fine. That there might be charges and all that. I might do some jail time. I probably won't do prison for non-lethal self-defense, okay? If you take it more extreme than that, you'll face more severe consequences, right? If there's repercussions that that anyone will have to deal with. If you're prepared for that, okay, that's a different level. But for now, I'm just discussing non-lethal self-defense. As a last resort also, you don't want drug dealers in your family. And if you're going to be a protector, you're like a dog, right? You're like a dog. You got to bark. You got to speak up, speak out, raise your voice, tell these people to stay away from your family, restraining orders, text them, hit them up, tell them you don't want them around your kids. Tell the cops, right? Police reports, tell the judges, tell the lawyers and the district attorneys. Get people to know who you are. Get the judge to know who you are. Get your local judges together. Be like, hey, I don't know. I might go to jail because this person's harassing me. I've made all these police reports, done all these police reports or restraining orders, and this person's not leaving us alone. We changed our number. We can't afford to move, or even if you do move, but we deleted social media, and they keep contacting us, coming around us, trying to sell my kids drugs, and they're coercing them, manipulating them, and they're kind of they're manipulating my children and my family to do these drugs that have a psychological hold in the grips of addiction around their neck, and they won't let them go, and they have them addicted, and they're taking their money and their health, and they're going to die from fentanyl overdose or losing their health. I'm watching them drown, and I have to throw my kid a golden rope, and I have to protect him. I got to be a dog. I got to be protective. Speak up. I'm a guard dog. I'm a watchdog, okay? A watchdog. And the judge knows me. The lawyers know me. District attorneys know me. My neighbors know me. All right, police officers know me. I speak to police. I speak to crisis intervention teams. I speak to the Criminal Investigations Division. I speak to the FBI, okay? I speak to Homeland Security. People know who I am. And this is who you need to be. You need to be that father, that protector in your family, that people know who you are. You have to be like everyone in this town, everyone in this city, everyone in the authority, everyone in a place of government, that if something happens, I know that, I'm probably going to get some leniency. I'm going to get some clemency. I'm going to get some understanding. I'm not going to get the maximum sentence. I might get some hospital time, some jail time. I might get probation. I might just get let go. I might get a fine, I might get some help. I might get some help to where the cops actually get involved and the cops do something and make an arrest. There's evidence. I have forensic evidence. I have police reports. I have pictures. I have license plates. I have descriptions of this person. I know what they look like. I have tattoo marks. I know who this person is. I know where they live. The cops need to do something, because if you don't, then I'm going to. I don't care. I'm willing to go to prison. This is going to be my new home. I might as well get used to it. I don't care. Okay? This is what needs to happen. I care, but it's what needs to happen. This is an honorable thing. If I'm protecting my family, if I'm doing something to protect my children and defend their lives, keep them alive, because they're drowning in quicksand, right? They're drowning in quicksand. That's the fentanyl epidemic. That's the overdose epidemic. This is drugs. This is heroin. This is meth, coke. They're dying. And this drug dealer is stealing their lives away. I'm going to do something about it. I'm stepping in. I'm intervening. I'm in a sense of urgency. I have a sense of urgency. Not only am I walking with a sense of urgency, I'm talking to cops that have a sense of urgency. I'm talking like something is extreme is about to happen, okay? I'm talking like something extreme is about to happen. I'm going to do something unless the police take action. Unless the police take action right now and, do something to diffuse the situation, protect my kid, protect my family, protect my loved one, protect my friend from the cartel, from these drug dealers, then I'm going to be the next daredevil, okay? I'm going to be the next vigilante, okay? I'm going to be the next Punisher, okay? Something extreme is about to happen, and you don't want to see me in the news. You do not want to see me in the news. And if I'm a father speaking to the police like this, I'm just writing this down. They could take it with a grain of salt. They could see, oh, this person's schizophrenic and bipolar. Oh, this person's psychotic. They're not making any sense. Okay. Oh, this person thinks they're devil. They think they're daredevil. They think they're the Punisher. Okay. They think they're a vigilante. No, I don't. You got to say this. I believe the police are inadequate. The police aren't doing their job. Judge is incompetent. Judge doesn't care. Lawyers are crooked. Lawyers are women. They can't do anything. The cartel's more powerful. They're scared. The FBI is chilling. The FBI is just chilling. They're not too concerned. They get so many letters. They think it's fake. I guess they think it's fake, So you need to take action. Non-lethal self-defense methods. Learn your rights. Learn your American rights. Learn the law. And visualize what you need to do. Talk to a sensei. Talk to me. Talk to a military member of the military. Understand that you have to be extremely careful and surgical and precise. You have to be a high-level operator to be able to diffuse the situation. You can't just be like, I'm going to go crazy and go to prison. You don't want to just go crazy and go to prison, right? You got to be extremely methodical and meticulous and deliberate, okay? You have to be with surgical precision. You have to operate, okay? So the decisions you make, every little decision you make, start off with restraining order. Start off with calling 988, 911. Start off with calling the FBI, writing them letters. Write Senate, write Congress, write your Homeland Security, write all your police, all the police departments. Go to neighboring cities. Say, hey, these police aren't helping. Please do something. Protect your children. And you need to work so quick. This needs to happen in several days, if not hours, because your kid's dying right now. The addict is dying right now. If they're injecting, shooting up, snorting, doing drugs, taking pills, they're losing their life right now and they're in quicksand, okay? If you're the addict, you're in quicksand. Your family needs to help you. And you need to be this protector. You need to be like, hey, this is combat. This is war. These drug dealers are stealing everything from me. Money, they don't care if I die. They're stealing my health. They don't care if I die. If I'm not around my family because I'm dead, they don't care. Now my family doesn't have me around. I can't protect them. They're going after my family next. This is war. You need to get clean and be able to say no and walk away from these drug dealers, be the bigger man. And if they come back, you need to be able to hold your ground, stand your ground, fight back. Say, this is not happening in this household. This is not happening in my life. I'm clean. I'm a soldier. I'm a protector. I'm a guardian angel in my family. I'll protect and provide for my children. This is me. This is what I do. And I'm not the old person. The old me is not alive anymore. Okay, so don't come back asking me for drugs. Don't come back, asking me to give you money for these drugs that are going to mess me up or cause me to die, or fentanyl overdose, or not help me in college, not help me at work, and just lead nowhere, right? All that's degenerate, all this nonsense, and that's for kids. It's like a soda. I had a member of the mafia. This is a member of the mafia telling me that he would take drugs, cocaine, meth, heroin, like a soda. He treats it like a soda. A soda has sugar, a soda has caffeine, and it's just like a luxury, right? In prison or, on the street, for if you're poor, it's like a luxury. And drugs can be like a luxury because it makes you feel better. It makes you feel high. It makes you feel high class. I guess you got some drugs, but it's like a soda. So, for him, that's how he views it. He views it as kind of like a commodity to where, he could take it, it doesn't affect him. And, that's the way he treats it. And so those people are the people you don't want to be around because they think that it's not a big deal. They think, oh, it's just like a soda. It's not going to hurt me. They do it every now and then, maybe like once a week, once every few days, but that's not a good way to treat it, right? And this guy, I'll tell you straight up, this guy told me, this guy in the mafia, he said that he would do controlled hits. And just like assassins out there, assassins use poison, okay? Any assassin out there, that's their number one method. That's their number one method of assassination is usually poison. And that's how the fentanyl epidemic and all these people are dying is from poison. Fentanyl is a poison. It's technically medicine for people in severe pain in hospitals, but on the street, when it's laced so potent in drugs that you're not unaware of, then it's considered poison because so many people are losing their lives. And that's what assassins do. So this mafia member told me that he used drugs and he would do controlled hits, which is like, you control the situation. Hey, we're going to party. We're going to this friend's house. We're deciding that, you're not going to live. They're not telling him that. Like, hey, we're going to have fun. We're going to play video games. We're going to just chill and hang out, drink a beer. They give him a drug, they overdose and die. And then they take off. Nobody knows they were there. Nobody knows they were there. The cops think that it's just an overdose, that they died alone. They just got drugs alone. But the drug dealers were there the whole time. It was a controlled hit, controlled. The situation was controlled. They know where this guy was. They were talking to him, manipulating him, keeping his mind occupied, playing video games, giving him bump after bump. Then they give him a lethal dose. And then that's it. They left the house with gloves. They use their shirt or some gloves to open the doorknob so they don't leave their fingerprints. A lot of these drug addicts don't have cameras in the house. So the drug dealers, the hitmen, they're basically hitmen, they just bounce and they take off and nobody knows they were there. A lot of street cameras, even street cameras, can't see the license plate because they're driving sideways from cameras. So the camera's here on someone's property and the car is driving down the street. So the camera doesn't catch the car's license plate. So a lot of times I've noticed, because I've seen that myself and I've made reports on certain things and criminals in my neighborhood to where cops, no matter how much software, video enhancement software that I got, that the FBI uses, that it wasn't able to detect the license plate or clear it up or unblur it. It was too far away. It was too dark, and it couldn't view the license plates, no matter how much enhancements I used. So a lot of drug addicts lose their lives, and it was literally like assassins that did it. It was literally assassins that did it. These hitmen, these drug dealers, they kill. They kill for organs. They kill for power and respect. They kill over disrespect. They kill for money. They kill for territory and turf. They kill for colors, red and blue. You know, they kill rival gang members. They kill people they don't like. They kill people on disability or welfare that are disrespecting their position in society. You know, so many people out there are unaware that it might not happen exactly like that, but when the cartel or a drug dealer sells you drugs and families are overdosing and dying, if you don't think that's a hit, you know, you can't just sell fentanyl on the street and expect people not to die. The drug dealers know someone's going to die. And, you know, that's just one of those things that you have to understand, that they're getting that that respect on the street from other drug dealers. They're getting that power, you know, and that's what it is. It's about power. People fear them now. People fear them. That's why they should be considered domestic terrorists, okay? But you need to be aware of all that. And I say that because these things happen. That's how deep it is. That's how dark it is. And you need to be that protector. If you're the father, if you're the mother, you need to step in, intervene, step in. We're changing. We're doing a 180. We're doing a complete 180. We're getting some healthy foods right now. We're going to a smoothie shop. We're going to eat somewhere healthy. You know, we're going to hit the gym. We're going to the sauna, sweat this shit out. We're going to the detox center. We're doing this right now because we care for you. We love you. We want you back. We want you to get better. We want the real you back. The real you. Okay, you're not you when you're doing drugs. And we want you back. You know, we want you to get better. We want you to live a better life. We want you to live a clean life with family. Okay, we want you to find a partner. We want you to have kids, go to church. We want you to find solid work. Okay, we want you to have a future and live the American dream. We want you to have a future. Children are the future, okay? You know, children are everything. Children are the future. And without children, we won't have a future. And if you're letting your kids die from fentanyl and drug overdose, you know, what kind of father or parent are you without stepping in, saying this needs to happen, okay? You took care of your kids at a young age. Now you need to step in. They might be older. They might be 20 years old, 25, 30 years old. They need to get it together, right? Put those gloves on. Get some gloves. Buy some gloves from Academy. Put some boxing gloves on. Hey, son. Hey, kid. Even if it's a girl, put these gloves on. You don't have to hit her too hard. Hey, can you fight? Because I'm going to whoop your ass. You know, you're doing drugs. You need to sober up. I'm not going to hit you without gloves. And you got 2 minutes to put these on. You're going to fight me right now. We're going to work this shit out. We're going to knock out drug addiction. Knock out drug addiction, just like we're going to knock out mental illness. We're going to knock out mental illness. We're going to knock out PTSD. This is a real thing. Some veterans do that. Veterans do this. You're mad. You're pissed. You want them to clean up. Get pissed off. Do those push-ups. Run 10 miles. Get this shit out of your system. You have energy. You know, do something positive with it. Fight. Don't hit them too hard. Don't knock them out too hard. Fight like you mean it, though. Be like, I love you so much. I want you to get better. Learn to fight. Get better. This is how you fight. Doing drugs, getting high. What does that accomplish? Fighting, you're learning discipline. You're learning to confidence in your mind, body, and spirit. You're transforming. Now you're a soldier. Now you're a fighter. You know, we're working this shit out. You disagree. You think you should do drugs. Well, I think you should get clean. And if you don't get clean, okay, you're making the decision to keep doing drugs in my house, okay? You're either going to get the fuck out, get on the streets, you know, and make your own money, because I'm not supporting you. I'm not paying your phone bill. I'm not paying your credit cards, not giving you money, not giving you a bed to sleep in. You're putting drugs in this house, and there's zero tolerance. I don't accept that. Get out of my house, or you're going to fight me right now. You're going to fight me right now and get clean, okay? Because we need to work this shit out. Okay, this is what needs to happen. We're going to have this duel. We're going to have this battle. We're going to work it out together as a family. And you got to understand that fighting is important. Now you know how to fight. Now you need to know that you need to psychologically be strong. You need to be mentally strong, and to fight against these drug dealers, to have this psychological warfare, have the mindset and spirit of a fighter. You're a fighter. You need to fight, and you're fighting for your life, okay? You're fighting for your life. I'm fighting for your life. This is a fight, and we're in it together as a family, okay? Because I love you. I love you. We're working together as a family on this, okay? So that's what needs to happen, okay? You need to fight it out as a family. Fight together. You know, fights happen. Real fights happen. Sometimes there's domestic violence, you know, without gloves. Sometimes people get killed in arguments. You need to do this responsibly. What I would do, I had a friend teach me this. He'd take gloves on. He'd be getting bullied at school. Okay, bully, you want to bully me? Put the gloves on. We'll work this out. We don't have to fight without gloves. There doesn't need to be bloodshed. Okay, but we're going to work this shit out. We're going to fight this shit out. You're going to stop talking shit. and this person doing drugs, hey, your kid's doing drugs, your friend's doing drugs, we're going to work this shit out. I'm going to whoop your ass. You got 2 minutes to put these gloves on, drink some water, you know, put this mouth guard in, put a mouth guard in. If they have braces, you want to make sure they have a mouth guard in so it doesn't mess them up that bad. Otherwise, you're going to mess up and bleed everywhere. So you want to have a mouthpiece, a mouth guard. And even if you don't have braces, okay, you want to put a mouth guard in, box with a mouth guard. You don't want to mess them up that bad. But you want to have a real good fight so they remember it. And you understand, hey, we're fighting together as a family. Those drug dealers are out there. They're the enemy. I'm not your enemy. I'm trying to help you. They're not going to fight you with gloves. They're going to fight you with drugs and guns, okay? They're going to kill your ass. I'm trying to make sure you stay alive and learn to fight, have a fighter spirit, okay? So work on these jobs, look at these links, live the American dream, have a fighter spirit, be a guardian angel for your family on the street, be a protector and a provider, okay? Be that guardian angel for your family. Stay alive, be a survivor. Throw your family a golden rope. Throw your kids a golden rope. They're drowning. They're drowning in the water. They're drowning in the quicksand. They're dying from drugs. They're drowning, okay? You need to throw them that golden rope. Help them. Pull them in. Bring them to rescue them, okay? Bring them to safety. And then take them on a trail to safety. They're going to have to follow you through the woods. Follow you through the dangers. Follow you through the cities. Okay, you need to keep them from danger. Be a protector. Be strong. Be fit. Be smart. Know your surroundings, okay? Study them, okay? So that's what I'm going to say for now. I hope this message was useful. I appreciate you sticking around this long. Thank you. And stay tuned for the next video.